Scarsdale. We appreciate you all here helping us kick this off. Thank you, guys. Make some noise. You got it, guys. Go ahead. Leading off the escort division, we have the Danbury Drum Corps. Danbury Drum Corps. Leading off our department is the Village of Mamaroneck Fire Department Guard. Firefighter Warren Powell, ex-captain William Snyder, firefighter Mark Vitetta, and firefighter Jesse Barretto. Next we have the Fire Department Grand Robert Pescia.
To the annual Village of Mamaroneck Volunteer Fire Department Parade. A little bit of a late start here, but you can see our first band is coming through. Westchester Danbury Drum Corps coming through. Okay, as we go forward, we have the Honor Guard, the Village of Mamaroneck Fire Department Honor Guard, leading our Grand Marshal, Bob Petcha. Congratulations, men. It's a wonderful night out for the parade. This is an annual event that the fire department has hosted for many, many years. It's a night that the whole community can come out and celebrate with the fire department. Our two chiefs, Chief Barney, Chief Simpson. I'm looking forward, you're coming here. 2 minutes. We're gonna have the chief here with us in a few minutes once he finishes marching. Our Mamaroneck Chiefs trucks. We also have the Mamaroneck Explorer Post, which is our junior volunteer firefighters who join the Explorer Post because they're interested in the fire service, marching behind us. They've been in service for over 50 years as an organization. We had a number of members who've come up through the Explorer Post, and it's a great way to feed potential future volunteer firefighters into the system and to allow those who are interested in the fire service to really see if this is something for them. We're fortunate in this community we have the volunteers who start at such an early age.
You get a 4x4, that's it.
So now we have joining us here 50-year member, past Chief Tom Burke, who's coming in what looks to be a 1957 Chevy convertible. Chief Burke was one of our more successful and prominent chiefs in the department. Served about 25, 30 years ago. It's closer to 30. So we're fortunate to have Mamaroneck Emergency Medical Services here in the village. Dedicated people. We've had a medical emergency here on the sidewalk. A woman tripped and fell and cut herself, and the ambulance service is here right away. You can see the truck behind us, and they're here doing good, taking good care of us. So I have the fire chief here with us right now, who's going to sit with me for a second. Come on in, James. James, come on, have a seat with me for a minute. Just pull that up. How you doing, James? How you enjoying your parade?
Pretty good. Beautiful night. Can't complain about that.
Can't beat that. Chief, how many hours go into preparing for this parade?
This parade, they'll start preparing this parade probably in September. Once we sort everything out from tonight and the rest of the carnival, they'll start sitting down back in September. What can we do to correct, fix it, make it better? What went well? And it's kind of an all-year thing. It's just an ever-evolving situation.
And your parade committee is mostly ex-chiefs, right?
The parade committee is mostly ex-chiefs. They have a really good handle on it. They know what works. They know what doesn't work.
Hi, how are you?
And
good seeing you, man. Hi, guys.
We're slowly getting some newer people involved, because a lot of the ex-chiefs, they want to be with their grandkids at the parade. They don't want to be on the reviewing stand. So we're getting a lot more people involved this year and the years to follow.
Well, we're fortunate to have that committee, because a lot of us who have been here, Mamaroneck all of our lives, remember coming here with our grandparents. And so I'm sure that they want to enjoy that. So we have the reviewing stand there. How many bands do we have coming through this year in departments?
I think we had over, the last I checked, I know there was some last minute stuff, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think there was over 18 bands.
Okay.
So that would give us, I believe, at least 4 bands in each, at least 5 bands in each division. So at least 4 bands in each division, but I think it's more than that now with the last minute arrivals.
Yeah. So tell me, I know you have a big night. You want to get to the reviewing stand. This is your second year. How's it going?
It's going great. I have a hell of a support team with everyone, with my assistant chiefs, with all the members in the department, with the ex-chiefs. Everybody wants to see this department flourish, and they want to see everything work out, and everyone's behind us 100%.
And how many calls this year so far, approximately?
I believe we're somewhere around 500, if not more.
500 to it. That'll get us probably close to what we've been doing, about 1,000 calls a year.
Yeah.
All volunteer, right, Chief?
That's it. Everybody here is doing it because they love this community, and it's the way it is here. And then hopefully we can push that on to everyone and continue to understand that it's the way it is here.
So tell me, how many hours does it take a week now for you to be the chief of the department that you have to give to the village?
It takes all of them. It really does. It's if I'm not working, I'm being the fire chief.
As you all know, the chief is also the head of our Department of Public Works and does a great job in keeping our parks nice, our streets clean. I remember being chief now, that was 20 years ago, and it was at least 25 hours a week. And I've been watching your schedule and seeing you out. It's got to be close to 40 hours a week that the chief of the department has to give to the community. I mean, there's no paid staff, there's no one there, and so it's something the community really fully understands how much goes into this to ensure that all of the apparatus is ready to go, that the training is there, that the members have the equipment, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of planning, and there's a lot of meetings, and there's a lot of studying, and there's courses that need to be up to date, and there is a lot of work that goes into it, but I feel like there's myself and everyone behind me are up for the challenge.
Yeah. Okay, well, I know you have a big night here, and I won't hold you up. Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I do not. I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We couldn't ask for better weather, and I appreciate the community's support because we can't do it without the residents. So thank you.
Chief, just before you go, it's your leadership that's moving the department forward. You and your team, and there are a lot of important initiatives that are going through here, and I think that the community is fortunate to have you leading our organization, and I'm grateful for it too. So
I appreciate
I wish you a
Chief.
good night, Chief. It's
Thank
a big
you very
night for
much.
you as a chief. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, so we just had the Larchmont Fire Department. It's an antique engine that's been around for many, many years. My good friend Steve Otis is going to sit here with me now. Steve, how you been?
Mike Copey, it's great to be here, and this is such a great Mamaroneck tradition, this parade, and for this year we have really perfect weather for it. So, but to have all the fire departments coming from the region, it's a meaningful thing. It's a meaningful thing.
No, and we appreciate it, Steve, because we know that you've been a big supporter, not just of the Mamaroneck Fire Department, but fire service in general. A lot of bills that have been passed through Albany have been worked on by you, co-sponsored by you, pushed by you, and you know, we're grateful to have your support here. So I just want to talk about Mamaroneck EMS as they come through here. Again, another dedicated group. I think I said earlier, it may have been 50 years of service that we've had Mamaroneck EMS, and I can remember when the Mamaroneck Emergency Services, when they were building the building, the Quadrine building, John Quadrine building, and he really pushed that forward. Recall with the stamps they used to get from the supermarket. Everybody had to collect the stamps, and we gave it. So we're fortunate as a community to have the Mamaroneck EMS. We just saw them in action here. Unfortunately, we had a woman who tripped here, and they were on scene in 30 seconds. So we want to salute EMS and thank them for their professionalism. But so tell me, how was everything in session today?
You know, a lot of important issues that relate, you talk about EMS. Shelley Mayer and I are working on a statewide EMS reform package, which Mamaroneck doesn't need the help, but other places do. And so we have some more work to do on that, but it's very important because statewide EMS is having trouble recruiting and retaining people, and so it's a big issue, so we're trying to do something there. Another big issue is the flooding in Mamaroneck, and that we're able to get money in the budget, $10.85 million in the budget for the Mamaroneck Army Corps project, which is very important. But we're here to celebrate fire departments, fire service, and I've shared with you in the past, I used to work with Susie Oppenheimer, and she taught me many years ago the most important thing for a local official is to do right by the fire department. And I know you know that's true.
And
right?
you've done right, and Susie did well by us too, both as our former mayor and as a state senator for many years, longtime Mamaroneck resident. So she understands, and she understands the impact as you do of the flooding. And the fire department is with people in the flood zone. But let me just take a break here. We have Bedford Hills and the Westchester Brassmen coming through, and the Bedford Hills, as usual, large contingent, always vying for most firefighters in line. Tonight they're looking like they're probably 35, 40 strong here, which is a pretty good turnout, maybe more. I don't want to undersell it, but they're always in contention. Very strong volunteer fire department up there, led by Chief Alex Dennett. Look sharp. So
you're sort of the Al Roker of the Mamaroneck Firemen's Parade.
Yeah, well, they asked me to take this and do this, and you know, I'm glad to help. We all volunteer. It's a hard act to follow Ken Barron, who did it for so many years, and I'm told he's watching. Ken, I appreciate you leading the way, and I'll never be as good as you doing, but this is where we're at in the fire department. Everybody tries to chip in and do something. There's no one paid. We're all volunteers, so somehow we all have to get together, and even when at times there's not complete agreement, but we all know one thing, that we all have to contribute. And so this is what they asked me to do, and I'm happy to do it.
Mike, you are a great public servant. for Mamaroneck, for New York State, for the city of Rye. You do it all. So,
I appreciate it, Stephen. I'm hoping you're going to stay here with me tonight in Anchor, and I know we have a few other people who are looking to come, so I don't want to lose you. We have a little hold up here as we have some of the Mount Kisco units coming through here, led by Chief Matt Hollis. So what do you have planned for the summer?
Mostly work. I
Yeah.
keep it pretty busy.
Yeah.
I'm a 12-month-a-year guy, so working on the EMS issue.
Yeah.
Some other you and I have talked about cybersecurity theft. Working on some of that stuff, and some stuff that we can talk about offline. What do we have here now? This is
Mount Kisco from Bedford, New York.
There's Katona.
It's an old apparatus. I can remember when I joined the department 42 years ago, we had open air apparatus like that now, because of safety reasons, you can't really use that. So as they get put out of service, all of the apparatus are enclosed. Big rescue. Today the fire department has changed drastically in 40 years. There's so much more equipment, and people say, why do we all need this? Well, we didn't need it today. But tonight, if something happens, we need that equipment. You have to have it. We don't have the luxury of going to Home Depot or to any other store and picking up equipment. It's got to be there. It's got to be ready to go. And this is why we have to have this large apparatus with us.
Well, also, for fire service, you also have always new issues, and you now have the lithium battery fires, and that's equipment needs for every fire department.
Yeah, and the batteries, both the small and large, the battery fires are really a new wrinkle to the fire service, because a lot of these batteries just don't go out. And so we have to submerge them in water, and then you can take it out, the heat builds right back up, and it can be submerged in water and take out, and it still catches fire again. So it's really a new challenge, but here in Mamaroneck, we're looking at it, we're getting equipment, we're getting training, and it's the wave of the future. And this is what we're gonna have to do. We have to train and be prepared for that. But back to the EMS, we're fortunate here. A lot of communities don't have dedicated EMS, and they can't find the staffing. And your bill that you and Shelley sponsored and pushed through is important, and hopefully will attract the EMS people. EMS is not, or was not, a necessary or mandatory service, and now we're getting it to the prominence that it needs. Let me see what we have here tonight.
It's Armonk.
Armonk, Chief Brian Fenster. Zero clean apparatus, very nice. They have a smaller brush truck here, utility.
So you get a nice rundown of what equipment each department's going to bring.
Every department during the course of the planning, as Chief Barney said, this planning starts in September, October, gets on right. We send out invitations, and this is one of the larger parades, but we send out, can you come, and then, yes, you're coming, and what apparatus will you bring?
And I saw just on the route, it's just not New York. I see Stamford is here, Darien is here.
And we get from New Jersey too.
Yeah.
So we have communities in New Jersey who've been coming, and Connecticut. I don't know, I'll have to look at the end, but we've had, there are a few volunteer fire companies still in New York City, down in Broad Channel, down in Queens, and so they have made the trip in the past. And we're fortunate that they want to come, and this is a night for us to celebrate. They celebrate. The community loves to see the apparatus, the children do. And as I told Chief Barney, we've all been coming here 40, 50, 60 years. We can remember standing on the avenue to see the parade. Certainly one of my earliest memories is seeing the fire parade when I was a young child. And other early parade memories I have is when President Nixon came down Mamaroneck Avenue, and we were all lined up on each side of the street. So 2 early memories, and of course the fire department is always prominent.
And you have to love the bagpipes. Bagpipes are great.
We have our neighbors to the south, town of Mamaroneck Fire Department, led by the Emerald Society Pipes and Drum Corps. We've had a long working relationship with the town of Mamaroneck, led by Chief Broderick. Chief Broderick's been a chief for a number of terms. He was chief when I was chief in the early 2000s. Tom? Yeah, trying. Men, look good, Chief. So, long working relationship with the town. They're here. My hearing will be off for 3 days after this.
What's that?
My hearing is off for 3 days after this. So I have George here. Do you mind giving me a couple minutes with George?
No.
I don't want you to go.
Yeah, Mike Opie, great to see you.
You gonna stay?
I'm going to go to the end of the route, I think.
Come back. Steve, I'll see you here. Steve, we have the town of Mamaroneck Chief's trucks coming through. Well-maintained apparatus. I'm ready when you are. County Executive, Mike, going to sit with me for a minute? Yeah, absolutely. Come on in. If Ken's going to sit with you or not, we'll sit down here. That's great. So we're joined by our County Executive and a long-time supporter of not just the fire service, but public safety in general, George Latimer. I appreciate you spending a couple minutes. I know you've been very, very busy. So
yeah, just a little bit, but Mike, it's great to be here. We have the perfect weather for tonight. When you were chief of the department, you had one night of perfect weather, but it's hard to come by. You can get humid weather, but this shows Mamaroneck at its very best.
Yeah. No, it's one of the biggest parades, and I know you go everywhere.
Yeah, we kind of do.
And I'll answer for you because I don't put you on the spot. But this is the best parade in the county.
Best parade.
Right,
No,
and so we like it. So
well, you know what? What's fun too is that this kicks off the Firemen's Carnival, and I even remember as a kid, like, you know, it would be like a date night. You know, you'd take a girl to the Firemen's Carnival, you know, and you'd go on the Ferris, rides and so forth. I'm a little old to really enjoy the Ferris wheel now, but I got to tell you, it's a great moment for Mamaroneck. So.
Well, no, I appreciate it. But even if you don't want the Ferris wheel, the carnival is open. It's open for the next 10 nights. You know, there's pizza free, there's food, there's refreshments down there. And on a night like tonight, it's a great spot to go and see friends from the community.
It is, and it's an important fundraising event for the department. This is one of the few volunteer departments south of 287. You have many more of them north, but this has got a great tradition, grandfather to father to son in the department. I see the youngest members who are the grandsons of my contemporaries who are here, but I still see Tommy Burke and I see Larry Citrone and you know, just the whole crew that goes back, John Barney. It's a wonderful tradition.
It is, and it goes down, you know, it's dying out a little bit, and I think that's partly because Mamaroneck has been so successful. Everybody stops to see George. Can't walk by.
You know, one of the things too is that we face rising housing costs, and when a house goes on the market, it's valued much higher now than it was years ago. The people who come in might be a prominent lawyer from the city, a medical doctor. They don't have the time or the wherewithal to be part of the volunteer fire department. So the guys who do make that commitment are making a tremendous commitment for this community.
It is, and part of the commitment is up front, right off the bat. A new firefighter who joins, it's about 350 to 400 hours just to get to the first level of training. But we're fortunate because the county is investing in the fire training center, and it's under your leadership, George. Otherwise, we would have to be traveling to other parts of the state.
Right.
So we're fortunate we have this new equipment going in, and hopefully that'll carry us out for the next 40 years.
And we've got now issues like lithium-ion batteries, which create a completely different kind of fire and a completely different kind of training. You can be skilled in fighting fires, and now all of a sudden in a parking garage, a lithium-ion battery explodes, and then others start to explode. What do you do?
Yeah.
So there has to be equipment, and that's up to us and the general government to put the money in, and then the training to deal with it.
Yeah, no, we appreciate because, you know, the equipment that's being purchased by the county, that's available as a resource for all of the communities, because as much as we want to try to have each piece of equipment, at some point it's just impossible.
Right.
So to have the county providing it there and having a ESU team responding with it, the hazardous materials unit coming with it, it really takes a load off the local taxpayer, and we know we have that specialized equipment that's available.
Terrific, and you know from your responsibilities, the mutual aid presence of these departments, their willingness to go into the next town or city over to be helpful is very important as well.
Yeah, the mutual aid has been around for 100 years, and my vision as fire service in this part of the state, probably the country, moves forward, it's going to become even more important. As people are unable to volunteer and commit the time,
Right.
you can't just eliminate a fire department.
You're going to rely on these things.
So,
Mike, before I leave the microphone, let me congratulate you for your service. Not only your volunteer service in the fire department here, but your professional service in law enforcement, what you've done at the state level. When I was up in Albany as a state legislator, you provided tremendous service to this state in a very difficult time with COVID. And I'm not sure everybody in Mamaroneck knows that, or Rye knows that, but you've done a tremendous job, and I want to thank you publicly for that work.
yeah, no problem, George. And I know you're busy tonight, so I don't want to hold you up. I appreciate you stopping by.
We'll get somebody more interesting behind the microphone.
So tell us one thing. What are you doing for the summer?
Well, I am going to try to take it a little easy.
Yeah.
I still have a fall election ahead of me, but we have a place upstate. You know, you try to get upstate if you can, and it's nice.
Know where it is? It's a nice place to be.
It is.
For about 6 weeks.
All the
Right there
best,
gets
Mike.
cold.
Take
George,
care.
we're
Great
behind
to
you.
see you.
Thank you very
Okay,
much,
good night.
George Latimer. Ken, I got to say hello to Ken Jenkins. Yeah. Good, Ken. Let me know what you need, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we got distracted there. We now have the Purchase Fire District led by Chief John Varman, good friend of the Mamaroneck Fire Department. He's here when we have our fires. Equipment looks great. John Varman, a very active volunteer and also a member of the New York City Fire Department. This individual brings his work home and gives back to the community there. Next, we have Trumbull, Connecticut, led by Chief in Charge Sean Duffy. Trumbull, Connecticut coming through. Engine's a 2019 E1 pumper, currently in service. Joined for our neighbors here, the Harrison Fire Department, led by the MTA pipes and drums from the MTA Police Department. Everything good?
I'm good, man. Family good?
Yeah, good, Ken.
How's your sister?
She's doing well. Doing well, Ken. We have the Harrison Fire Department, our neighbors to the north. Long working relationship with Harrison. They've been responding to our fires, and we've been responding to their fires many, many years. Hey guys, thanks for coming. One of the older pieces of apparatus that we have in the parade. Harrison, very well maintained. First generation after the horse is pulling. Pretty much right there, well maintained, always brought in. Everybody loves to see the antique fire apparatus. Gets us pretty much to the present. 2017 Seagrave, well-maintained ladder, tower ladder. Unlike Mamaroneck, Harrison is a dual department. They have some career staff and they're supported by volunteer staff. In Mamaroneck, we're fortunate that as an organization we're able to do this all volunteer, no paid staff, no paid drivers. You know, when that fire alarm goes off, you know, your neighbors are all volunteering to go to the fire department and get on the apparatus and go help people at their time of need. A little break in the parade here. You have to have these breaks through the parade because we still have traffic flowing in certain parts of the village, namely the post road, and allows the traffic not to back up too far. So we schedule it to allow the traffic to get through. There is a bit of an inconvenience and there's a little bit of a wait, but the Mamaroneck Police Department does a great job ensuring the traffic moves smoothly through the village. See the parade resuming now. We have Carmel Fire Department from Putnam County working their way down the avenue, led by the Saints Brigade, which looks to be one of the larger band contingents that we've had here in a while. Carmel Fire Department led by Chief Robert Lipton Jr. Hi, man, look good. Carmel has been the recipient of a number of volunteers who unfortunately left Mamaroneck to move further north for a number of reasons and became active volunteers in Carmel. So our loss has been their gain. Another guest who wants to join us now. Come on, Mayor. Appreciate you coming to sit with us. We have Mayor Sharon Torres, new mayor in the village of Mamaroneck. Very good supporter of the Mamaroneck Fire Department.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you coming out tonight and spending some time with us. So,
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our pleasure. So tell me, you're in 6 months.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
We're in about 6 months so far. You know, having a good year. Lots of stuff happening. And just really looking forward to the rest of the year.
Good. And you've been in Mamaroneck for a while now, right?
Oh yeah, I've lived in Mamaroneck 15 years. So watching this parade is, you know, a great annual tradition for everyone.
And we're fortunate to have a nice night. It's nice to come out to the
beautiful
parade when you can wear a sweater and be a little chilly out here, as opposed to 95 and humid or potential for rain.
We got very lucky. This week was super hot, reminding us it's summer, in case you weren't sure. But this is a gorgeous evening for a great time for a parade.
Great. So I appreciate it. And I just want to take a second here. We have the Sleepy Hollow Police Department led by the Yonkers Military Band.
And of course, we just had the Saints Band. Did a great job.
Yeah.
Really, really wonderful.
That was one of the larger bands that we've had here in many, many years.
Okay.
So it's nice to see them.
We were watching up. I was watching up by the grandstand, and they were just phenomenal to watch. They sounded great. So I'm really glad they were able to join us this year. And I enjoy seeing all of the older fire engines.
Yeah, I think that's a crowd favorite.
Absolutely. It shows you the history of the fire departments in our area. They're just beautiful to look at, and to see the difference from today to 100 years ago, what they did for managing fires. It's incredible.
Well, you know, the Mamaroneck, we started with hand-drawn equipment, and we're fortunate that we had a piece that has survived the years. I believe it's now up at the Firemen's Home up in Hudson, New York on loan. so it's in a safe spot and people can actually enjoy it. But you know, the Mamaroneck Fire Department, Hook and Ladder, I believe, was the first company, 140 years that you know, we've been providing all volunteer fire service, and Hook and Ladder was the first company.
And I think we're actually one of the largest, if not the largest, with almost 200 active volunteers.
Yeah, we have a number of volunteers, and it's shrinking a little bit. It's an unfortunate sign of the times, you know.
Yeah.
You know, as I said earlier, Mamaroneck's success. This is a great place to live. It's not as affordable now for volunteers who may want to volunteer, but we're holding our own. We're doing what we can to recruit people. We're working with other departments. We're here. We want to serve the community. But it's changed, you know, from on the Ave in the old Hook and Ladder building, there was horses there to draw the apparatus, to now having our apparatus up in a new headquarters.
But you know, hopefully, as we're watching this parade and seeing all of the different departments come out, I hope that there are more families and more individuals who are inspired to come out and join our volunteer fire department.
We're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah, it's wonderful to have the generational. Your dad was in, your grandfather was in. Or your mom, I guess.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we have lots more women joining as well. So I hope that women are also looking at these opportunities. I think it's wonderful. But it's great to have new people in too, and bring those changes.
Yep, and it is a diverse department, and you know what had historically been men only has changed over the last 30 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
It's changing, so we do have a diverse department.
I think it's a great change, and it really reflects the community more. You're seeing more women in the fire department, which gives them more opportunities and a chance to reflect. But it's also, we're seeing the younger generation come in. We still have plenty of guys who's been here for 50 years.
Yeah.
So we have the older generations teaching the younger generations. It's really a great opportunity for people, but it's also really nice. I think it's part of what makes us special as a community is that all of our fire department, every volunteer, they're your neighbors, the parents in your school, your kids' school. You see them every day, and
this is a community of volunteers.
Absolutely.
The volunteer boards, and we all serve a role. And I think that's what makes Mamaroneck great, is that everybody is willing to chip in, and maybe not everybody is ready to be a volunteer firefighter.
Right.
But if you are, call us. We're always available. I spoke earlier. We have the Explorer Post, which is kind of a feeder program for people who are interested in fire service under the age of 18, typically high school students who are interested in fire service, and allows them to get a taste. And they help us out greatly at fires. They help us roll up the hose. They don't engage in active firefighting, but we do need support, and we give them a taste of what it is. And we've had a number of explorers who've gone on to be career firefighters, including our second assistant chief, Michael Yanuzzi, is my friend, brought me in. He was in the Explorer Post. I believe Chief Barney was. Also, we have here next, I just want to take a break, stay there, Port Chester Fire Department. Good partners with us, and we've got a long relationship with them. A lot of fires. I was at a lot of fires in Port Chester. They've been at a lot of our fires here. And
well, that's part of the community too, is that our village volunteers don't just work in the village. That we come to the aid of other communities just like they come to ours. And I think on the Sound, particularly between Port Chester and Larchmont, a lot of us just help each other out. And I think that's a beautiful thing. We start to lose that sometimes. When you're volunteering, you kind of forget that the volunteering's not, just for your community. We help everybody.
And we help everybody, because at times we need help also.
Of course.
And I think that's, as I said earlier, that's the direction of the fire service, the volunteer fire service in this part of the country, is that, as unfortunately volunteering and the commitment it takes to be a volunteer becomes a little bit more difficult to attain these certifications, we still have a core group of people, and we respond to each other's communities. So, it's working, and I think that's the direction we're going to go. So we have a lot of apparatus here from Port Chester, and they normally have a large number of firefighters in the line. And so I'm talking, Bedford Hills, Port Chester are typically two of the larger groups that come to the fire parade. So Mayor, tell me, what's on your agenda for the village? What can we expect?
Well, I think the agenda is really just focused on building up the community. I think everything that we're doing has to focus on that. So clearly we know we're a Sound Shore community. We need to focus on flood mitigation. We have a number of things in the works. So we want to work on getting grant money and also intermunicipal cooperation. So not just us, but we know everybody floods. So we want to work with Harrison and Rye and whatever communities we can. So that's one. Pedestrian safety, obviously, we know in this world, if I need something now, we tend to drive a little fast, try to get wherever we're going super quick. And we need to put in some calming measures to make sure that everyone is safe, because even our drivers are eventually pedestrians, and we have to remember we want it safe for everybody, for our kids, for the elderly, for anyone crossing a street, or even driving. You don't want car accidents, and we have tons of them. So,
well, I'm hopeful. This flood mitigation, it's got to move forward, and those of us in the fire department. I am not in the flood zone, but I feel for these people. I've been here for 4 floods, and I don't want to see it again. And so, whatever we can do to help them out, and I know you're working on it, and but that's got to change. And the fire department is with the flood victims, and we want that to change. We don't want to have to be down there getting people out. So, I hope and we all pray that can get resolved. But just looking here, Portchester brought a lot of apparatus.
They did.
And I know that rescue company, the hook and ladder there. And that hook and ladder, you see it's at the Grateful Dead. And they put that on there because the Grateful Dead back in the day loved the Capitol Theater. And it was their favorite place. And so they put that on there. And in the front of that bucket they have "To Hell in a Bucket," right? And it's named after one of the Dead songs. But Portchester's fortunate that they're probably the strongest volunteer. The rescue company that came by, they have 40 or 45 active members in that company alone. So we've had a good working relationship with them. We train with them. They know our village. We know their village. So when they come here, they know exactly, how to get here.
We do have a long-term plan that we're working on. It's still, in process. The hope is the hope is to have the 5 to 10 year plan so that we have this domino effect of project after project. And I know that we have trained volunteers who are able to go into those flood situations. They're taking out the boats. They're rescuing people from cars, getting down streets you cannot walk. Obviously, they've rescued people from water. I remember during Ida, we had people literally who needed to be pulled out of what looked like a lake, but it had been a street just hours earlier. Yeah. And my hope, I'm so grateful that you have the training and that we have the equipment to do it. My hope is certainly at some point that that's not really the focus. Yeah. That we're not having more floods. Not that I want to fire, but we're not having more floods than fires, right? Yeah. Well,
this is something that's come on, and Chief Barney has made this a focus and initiative to ensure that the volunteers have the training and the equipment. Yeah. And it's pretty much growing every year, but Chief Barney has pushed this forward now to where there is a lot of training. They're going to Oriskany, to the State Training Center, which is a world-class facility. Right. They're learning how to work through the streets when they're flooded. The days of just going in a bucket truck and pulling people, really that's not the proper way to do it, because you just don't understand what's happening under 4 or 5 foot of water. Absolutely. And you could have some of those roads that have been undermined. So, fortunately, the chief, through the assistance of the board, has provided us with the equipment, and I think that that's a great thing. So we got a little break here for 1 second. We have the West Harrison Fire Department led by Chief Pete Ciliano and the local 21 Bagpipe Band. So Mayor, you're here now 6 months, a lot of time. How much time do you put into the...
Oh, wow. I mean, it depends on the week, but it's definitely more than a part-time job. It's definitely more than volunteer. I know your guys have to put in something like 150 hours just to, get through to be on the truck. So I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I'd have to check, but probably a good 20 plus hours a week.
Yeah.
We have our meetings and the preparation for the meetings, meeting the public, talking to different groups about what they need and what they see. And then, of course, there's the endless emails.
Yeah, my gut feeling is you do 20 hours of emails and phone calls.
I think I might.
And then another 20 of meetings, right? And so we see the meetings, and it is a thankless job, but it is important that we have Mayor volunteer to do it, and I appreciate everybody who sits up there and takes the time.
Thank you. I think it's gratifying that if you're the type of person who wants to hear the public, if you want to hear what's going on, if you want to really listen and then problem solve, look for those solutions, I think it's really rewarding for me. I know that when I listen to our residents and I can reach out to others and get help to bring something back, I find that incredibly rewarding. And here they are.
West Harrison coming through. So what do you have on the agenda for yourself this summer? Do you travel? Do you take a summer vacation?
I don't think I'll be traveling much this summer. We have too many projects going on, and I wouldn't want to be away right now. But definitely I'll be checking out our carnival, taking a walk down. We have Harbor Island. It's just a beautiful place to be, especially in the summer. I like watching the boats come in and out, hang out and just relax.
Yeah.
So I think part of it will be spent really just enjoying more of the village. And of course I have 2 dogs, which I think most people in the village have seen by now. So I take them wherever I go. So we travel. One of my dogs actually tells me every single time an engine goes by, he likes to howl in sync with the engine, so that's always fun. But we're just going to be much more local and much more trying to find relaxation. Some downtime, getting to know more of my neighbors, things like that.
Yeah, well, Mamaroneck is a great place in the summer.
Yeah,
it's a great place year round. I'm not particularly fond of the cold weather anymore.
Yeah.
But my friends go away and they want to go to the Jersey Shore to other beach locations. Like, why go anywhere? You have Mamaroneck, the weather's perfect.
Right.
There's lovely beaches around here. The restaurants are here.
Well, actually, our winter weather hasn't been so bad either. Unless you want to ski, you're still okay to come by.
Well, I would prefer it 70 in January. So.
And here's some of my favorites to listen to. The Dixie Dandies.
Dixie Dandies.
I get to march 2 times. I march once with Nora, then I go back and I march with them.
How many years have you marched?
What?
How many years have you marched?
Probably 5 or 6.
Yeah.
My friend Al Fennell, who I sing with at Barbershop.
Okay.
That's the Dixie Dandy. So it's my one chance to be in a parade.
All right, we appreciate it.
Well, have fun.
Thank you.
Do you want to join us?
Hastings on Hudson.
Yep. So how many municipalities actually do come to our parade?
Anywhere from 30 to 38, 39.
Wow.
So this is one of the larger parades in the county and in the region, and everybody comes to Mamaroneck. They just like it.
Yeah, I love that it's such a long parade that we get to see so many different trucks and all of our volunteers coming out. It's really such a great reminder. I don't remember if we have the boats in the parade, but that's another thing that probably a lot of places don't have, that you have those opportunities to train
I haven't seen a boat, but I know that one of the departments brings a boat on a trailer, and they trailer it through.
Yeah, I think we have one too. So.
Yeah. one of the issues we have is that the apparatus today is generally so large that it can't fit under the Mamaroneck Avenue Bridge. So it limits a lot of what the departments can do in bringing. So some of the departments, they'll stage it. They may start down near Excelsior, Mamaroneck Avenue School, and they march, and they leave their apparatus on this side of the bridge so they can come down the main part of the avenue. You know, unfortunately, as we migrated from pulling carts, horse-drawn carriages, well, you know, those 100-foot ladders, they can be 14-foot high, and they can't make it under the bridge. So some manufacturers are manufacturing low-profile apparatus, but they're getting harder and harder to find. And so for communities here, you're kind of stuck.
One of the other fun things about this parade is the number of kids we have out.
Yeah.
You know, I think they love the sirens, the lights, you know, waving to the fire department. So it's fun to watch them get excited too.
Yeah, I was talking, I think it was Steve Otis earlier, we were talking about just, you know, in the beginning coming out here, one of my, you know, first memories of the Avenue is coming down here at 5 or 6 years old and seeing the parade. And you always look forward. And, you know, back in the day, I don't even want to say there was no advertising, there was no social media. You just knew the parade was here. When the carnival started to get us, said, okay, the parade is going to be here, and we would come down. And, you know, earliest memories of the Avenue, the parade. I said earlier when President Nixon came, I remember that, and then Sal's, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
And the movie theater, coming to the movie theater.
Oh, and I love the new movie theater. The renovations have been amazing, and then having LMC here. Having LMC right on the Avenue with a studio on the Ave now, and everything that they're bringing to the community, it's really, we're just building up and improving every year.
Yeah, and with LMC-TV, they're here 40 years in the community too. And it's important to note, you know, take an opportunity to have a break to thank the volunteers at LMC-TV. That they do a great job, just not broadcasting this, but all of the events that happen here in the area, that they're out there, and they are volunteers, and they're also a 501c3 organization, and they accept donations, and those donations help keep them vibrant and help keep people in the door. And so it's important for the community to know, not just volunteer firefighters. We have volunteers at LMC-TV, we have volunteers on the planning board, the zoning board.
Well, I think that's one of the nice things about the village is we do have so many opportunities for community involvement, so much for the volunteering. You know, I do know LMC does run on donations, and for what they provide, it's amazing that they can do it with the donations. They provide services to everybody here.
So we have the start of the 3rd Division, led by ex-Chief Pete Primrose. Chief Primrose has a long history of family service. His father was in the department. We talked about the Explorer Post. Pete was in the Explorer Post, and he probably has close to 50 years of service between the Explorer Post, the volunteer fire department, and you know, I think, you know, his father was taking him to the firehouse, so, you know, I think Pete's probably about 58. He's probably got about 57 years in the firehouse. Hello, man. Chief Okikyo, that's my 2nd fire department, Arrive Fire Department. Robin Latimer driving. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Driving it, so.
Well, kids do love going to a fire department.
Yeah, everybody loves fire department.
They do.
You know, we keep the firehouse door open on Sunday mornings, all the firehouses. So if you're watching this from home and your child likes the fire engines, stop down to one of the firehouses on Sunday morning, or any time that you see the firehouse door, come knock, bring the kids in. Any of the firehouses, the firemen are always interested in trying to develop a new volunteer. Oh.
Yeah.
And so here we go. We have our Swiftwater Rescue Team.
There we go.
And so
that is a ton of training that they do in crazy conditions.
Appreciate it, Pete.
Hey.
I didn't know that was coming. I'm glad to see it. So we started a Swiftwater team too, because Rye, like Mamaroneck, has unfortunately had flooding problem. And so, you know, we looked at this and we started a team, and you know, now we're on the verge of being accredited in Rye as a Type 2 certified team.
I remember we started the training a little bit for Swiftwater, but I also remember the pictures of watching these guys out in the harbor in the cold water, you know, preparing. I know at least one or two of our guys went up for training upstate, and I saw the waters that they had to train in, which I'm not training in. So I'm grateful they are.
No, that, as I said, there are two facilities. There's one in Texas, and then the state has a facility up at the State Training Center that are world class, that people
amazing.
from around the world come to train in if they can get the time. And just the Swiftwater, the current, so there's a lot that goes into it. And you know, we're fortunate in Mamaroneck and Rye that we have the training and we have the support.
And it's really good for me to know that when these guys are going out in the middle of an IDA type storm, I want them to be prepared. You know, I don't want them to end up being a casualty. We want them keeping the community safe. So I like that we're getting the equipment, we're adapting to changes from fires and floods. As things change, we're going to keep adapting and you know, supporting that fire department to make sure that you guys are always on top of things.
We just passed by Glenbrook, Connecticut. Chief Naring is here with them. Brought a pumper, 2009. Mayor, I hope you have more time. Can you stay, or
Sorry.
are you okay? You can
It's just a little hard to hear you.
Yeah, I love Steve, and I give him credit for all the help he's been giving us.
Oh, I love their shirts. They look.
So we have here the Tappan Z Bridgeman leading the Tarrytown Fire Department, led by the Riverside Hose Honor Guard. Solid honor guard there.
Next to our fire engines, the bands are definitely my next favorite. I love what they bring to the parade.
You know, they're all in step, and so they practice to make sure that they march. And we have the judges here, and you know, part of the parade is we have 50 some odd trophies that go out to best band, most firefighters in line, best apparatus, best ladder, and then just the best all around. And that is the most sought after trophy here in any parade. And so part of that, though, is the judges.
I was sitting right with the judges before I got here.
And the judges have a checklist, so they're watching each group that comes through.
Yep.
They're evaluating, and one of the things evaluating, who's in step, who's marching. Does everybody
Absolutely.
have their gloves on? Are they all looking professional?
They were taking it very seriously, even how clean the trucks were. So I had the fun of watching all of that. And of course, we had every single band stop in front of us, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where is the furthest group from? Who travels the most to get here? Do you know that?
I know we had some from northern New Jersey, just over the GW Bridge.
And I noticed, I think Trumbull was here. Yes,
Trumbull.
We have definitely some from Connecticut and a little bit.
Trumbull, Belltown, Connecticut. Long Ridge is on the north side of Stamford, up near the Pound Ridge border.
Right, yeah.
So it depends. Now, you know, there are a lot of parades around the region, so, you know, we generally have a number of departments that want to come year in, year out, but there are only so many parades you can go to, so they pick and choose where they go. We seem to get a lot of repeat people come here, and we try to reciprocate and go to the other parades, but there are so many commitments today, personal and professional, to get out of the house for a parade 5-6 times a year. It gets a little bit difficult.
Well, and in addition to parades, you guys do other things. You know, we have the candy cane run around the holidays where we get to see all the kids and hand down ornaments and such. Every event, so. And that's when you're not fighting fires or responding.
Yeah, that's led by the Tappan Zee Bridgemen. And as the gentleman said earlier, some of the bands will go through a couple times because the bands are in demand. And we have 39 departments, so they'll march to the avenue, then they'll come up.
Hi there.
And then they'll run back and they play different music as they come up with their next.
I love watching them. So. And I see people in the crowd are marching with everybody else, so it's nice to see they're all getting into it. And here's another one of the older engines.
Yeah. 1928.
Wow.
Aaron's Fucks. So my company in Halsted Manor, we had one of those, and that was a particularly common apparatus 70, 80, 90 years ago that company manufactured a lot of the apparatus. That's not currently in use, but by looking at that, if they had to pump from that, they could. It would still pump now.
Definitely looks that way.
You want to join us again, Steve? You want to join us again?
I'm fine here. I'm enjoying it.
All right, come on, let's get a chair. Pull up in here with it, Steve.
There's an extra. Oh, just throw my stuff.
I would just say I'm enjoying seeing the different departments come by, and this is just such a great Mamaroneck tradition.
It is.
I say to both of you. But it's very nice, and then I saw, departments that I know well, and saw a lot of friends, which is just very nice. So.
Well, we had two people that know almost everybody in the county very well.
Yeah.
The county executive and you.
George remembers everyone. I have no idea how he does it.
Well,
it's equal here. It's a tie, right?
George has probably been to every one of these departments' firehouse.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure he has. Yeah. George has been great. I see. Many years before I ever decided to run for mayor. I've seen him at almost every event that we've had here.
Yeah, no, he's here.
We had a block party actually for one of the co-ops, and he showed up and joined us for that. So
here we have Darien. We had Stanford before.
And you see here the difference between Mamaroneck and Darien. In Darien, they don't have hydrants. We're fortunate here in the village that the village, we're Class 2 fire insurance, and part of that is because the infrastructure was put in years ago. So there's a hydrant just about every 500 feet. All of the apparatus in the village have about 1,000, 1,200. My company has a little over 1,200. And so wherever you are in the village, you have a hydrant that's within 500 feet of your house. Maybe a few other spots, but we have enough hose to get from the hydrant to your house. And even if the hydrants fail, we have drafting equipment, so we could go to the harbor, put the hard suction in, and we can draft water back up so we can go into a pool. In Darien, they don't have hydrants everywhere.
So it's all pump trucks?
Well, they have those tankers, and through their mutual aid network, they'll call 5 or 6 tankers, and they do water shuttles. And so what will happen is they set up temporary pools. That tanker will go to the scene and empty its tank in the pool, and then go to the water source wherever it might be, draft, and another tanker will jump. So it adds a new evolution. It works well there. We're fortunate here that we have the hydrant. It makes it a bit easier.
I guess we have friends of New Hyde Park in the crowd.
New Hyde Park, led by Chief Joseph Kartarski. Coming here, clean apparatus. That's Long Island. So, what else you have going on this summer? Tell us.
I have projects. I have projects. I have work. So.
I keep him busy too, so no vacations for him.
Yeah, I don't know how you find the time because you have the session. That's 6 months, and then you have to get out in the district then and the rest of the time. How do you get time off?
I mean, I enjoy the work. I try and be very involved in every community I represent, so it's not a problem. But there are a lot of needs out there, a lot of public safety needs, a lot of flood and water infrastructure needs. I was in a very good flood meeting in New Rochelle the week before last, hearing about some of the flood problems they have there. They're not near like a water body. It's just stormwater system can't keep up with the capacity, which we have here in Mamaroneck too.
Yeah, we know that well.
But there is a lot of it. It's not coastal. It's just the water is just a lot more volume than their stormwater system. And,
We'll hold on that topic for a second because we have Thornwood coming through right now, and they have a Model T antique apparatus pulling one of their older hand pumps, 1917 Model T antique. You see, that was a pump where the firefighters at the time would get to a water source and they start drafting. You'd have to pump, and that would pump the water back and forth. That wasn't pulled by the truck. That was probably pulled by the firefighters running miles to get to the fire and then find a water source. But you know, you talk about flooding, and it's not just necessarily near the streams, and it's not coastal. We have two different types of floods. But when the stormwater prevents the sewers from getting in my house, and I had not experienced flood, but during Ida, you know, I got the panic call from my wife that it was backing up. I was like, I can't believe it. We never had it. But you know, around 11 o'clock that night, I was in the firehouse where we were doing calls. I had to go home. Said, okay, start mopping, and you know, it pales in comparison to what our fellow residents here sustain. But it can happen anywhere, and this is why flooding is the most important thing here, and it has to be, you know, just because it can happen to anyone. And you don't think it's going to happen to you until it's 10, 12 inches of rain and high tides here, and the storm's just not going to let up.
what was very interesting at this New Rochelle meeting, some people had water in their basement that was all stormwater. Some people had stormwater and sewage backup. And very frustrating just to hear the stories. And New Rochelle is actually moving. It's a big city with a lot of infrastructure, but they're working on trying to come up with a project list and get stuff done, which really every community needs to do.
Well, we've been doing the same thing, and I have to say thank you while you're here. My first 6 months were definitely made a little bit easier by having Steve with us. He has been tremendous in helping me get the flood mitigation efforts moving, both with some funding,
And
but
Shelley.
also, and Shelley. I mean, I think there's a lot of names, but there's a lot of people involved from the DEC and the county and everybody coming together. It's been wonderful. Just met Dean Marjuli yesterday, who's now the newest hire with the county to help with flood mitigation. So I think pulling that all together is really going to be nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, and as we all know, Mamaroneck, there are a lot of flood victims in Westchester, but Mamaroneck is really ground zero in terms of the worst flood damage. So,
Well, we just happen to take everybody else's on. As it leaves your community, it comes through us.
So we talked earlier about the fire apparatus not fitting under the bridge. I'm pretty sure Thornwood is one of the apparatus that has to stage on our side, on this side of the bridge.
That is a big truck.
Sharon has totally immersed herself in these flood issues. I can attest how much time that you spent.
I have no idea. But the fact that we're at least coming up with plans, that we have some solutions coming up, that makes it really worth it. It's part of the community service.
Chief Costa leading off the division. Chief Costa was a chief just prior to Chief Barney. Another individual fortunate. He's a firefighter in the city of New Rochelle. He's a career firefighter. Comes home and volunteers in his community with what he's doing for work. We're fortunate to have that. We have the St. Peter's Drum Corps leading the Brewster Fire Department, led by Chief Andrew McMurray. Even with a few firefighters marching tight. Edgewater Park. We spoke earlier about the departments coming from the city. Edgewater is down in Queens. And, it's a small volunteer group that operates down there. But they've been coming to our parade for many, many years. So where do you go tonight? You gonna eat dinner on the avenue?
What's that?
Will you eat dinner on the avenue?
I'm heading. What I'm going to do, I think I'm going to leave you guys. I'm going to go down and visit with some of these departments that are coming up this way. So,
I appreciate it.
Mike Kobe, great to see you.
Thanks, Steve.
Dana
Good
Simon,
friend.
Great to see you. Good job. And this is a great night for this parade. I mean, it is perfect weather, so we're all doing well.
Perfect weather in a perfect village.
Yep.
Thank you for joining.
Take care.
See you later.
So it's amazing how the avenue has changed in the restaurants. And, you know, it
Well,
wasn't...
when I moved in 15 or so years ago, I think there were more stores when I first got here. And it has been changing almost like the way I see Mamaroneck Avenue and White Plains, where more and more restaurants are opening and they're getting different, you know?
Yeah.
And we probably have 7 pizzerias on the avenue at least in this very short time, but now we have almost everything. We have, you know, sushi, hibachi, French, Italian, anything you want, pretty much.
That's why I love it here. You know, you don't have to travel to eat out. We have it. But the funny thing is, I can remember it probably began to change right around 2000. But you know, on any given night, Friday night or Saturday night, there was no problem with parking because there was nothing open. On the other side of Sal's, it was all available parking, and so you didn't have to drive too far. And people say, no, that's impossible.
No.
And so,
yeah, things are definitely changing. More businesses coming in, more restaurants coming in, more people shopping on the Ave. So, you know, we have lots more cars coming in here. It's definitely something we'll need to look at some point. Where are they going to park? But it's still great just that we have that number of people coming into our village.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully going straight down to the harbor and enjoying that as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully if they're here tonight and they see the parade, they go down to the parade, but that they would come back in the future. You know, we have people who come here from around the town floor, and, you know, as this parade, the St. Patrick's Day parade, but us as a fire department, we're hopeful that those people will come back and patronize our businesses. We recognize the impact that the parade has on the businesses, and we're grateful and we're thankful to the businesses that they work with us on this one night.
Well, it starts with the parade. You know, we have that the second night, I guess, this year. We have this parade tonight, which has been wonderful, and we have one of the larger crowds that I've seen in a while. Then we have the carnival all week. Lots of people bringing the kids to the carnival, enjoying the rides, being able to walk through the park and use the playground and everything. And then, of course, we have our fireworks, which I think many years rival every fireworks in, you know, all the fireworks in the county. I think we have some of the best. I know Harbor Island is packed. I usually walk because there's definitely not going to be a place to park, but I'm so grateful that when I moved here, I'm probably within about 3 blocks or so of the Ave, so walking here on a Saturday night's great, walking to the fireworks. I get to watch everything, you know. And that, I think, is a huge night for us as well, because we have music during the fireworks. We used to have the carnival right next door. The avenue's open for business, at least. It's lots and lots of.
Well, the Mamaroneck Fire Department fireworks are the best fireworks anywhere, right?
My first year here, I moved in right before July 4th. I didn't know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And I decided I had to take a break from moving in. You know, there was just all week I'd been moving in. So I just took a walk down to the harbor, and I thought it was one of the best fireworks shows I've ever seen. Hands down.
It's great. So let me see here. I think we have Elmsford Fire Department, led by Chief Mike Iannazzo. Newer apparatus, a 2018 Pierce pumper and a 2016 Quint, which is a pumper and a ladder combined. So, you know, a lot of departments are moving towards that when they can make it operate so that they have both pieces of apparatus at a scene with one thing.
Oh, I see lots and lots of lights. We're going to have a bunch of cars coming through.
So just as a reminder for those watching from home, you know, the fireworks at the harbor, 4th of July, right? The rain date is the next night, but it doesn't look like it's going to be rain.
Right.
But, you know, we want everybody to come down. Even if you don't want to go to the carnival, come down and enjoy the fireworks. It is a good show, and you can just walk down, see the fireworks, and walk home.
Well,
It's
and
just such a
Harbor
great
Island
night.
is huge park. You know,
Yeah.
it's not just the carnival. We have the fields that will be open on July 4th. You know, where you would normally play soccer. It's an open field, right by the West Basin.
Yep.
And the East Basin. We have tons of space, you know, benches and places to sit. We have 2 parks, so you have one on either side. If you want it a little quieter,
Yep.
you can be on the Rushmore side. And if you want to pack some food and just hang out and enjoy the day, you can do that.
Yeah.
It's something that you could literally spend the day there on July 4th and then cap it off with fireworks.
Exactly. You can come down, you can enjoy it. You can come up on the avenue, get something to
Yeah.
eat. You can get something to eat at the carnival. Like you say, if you'd rather have a little more private area, there's still private
have
areas
that
to go
too.
to. If you want to be with crowds, you can go with crowds.
Absolutely.
So, but we just encourage everybody to come down and enjoy the fireworks. You know, we do this for the community. It's something that gets people out. Like I say, even if you don't want to go to the carnival, come and enjoy the fireworks.
Well, you have, you know, the entire avenue will be open for business. So if you want to have a bite to eat out in one of the restaurants, you can sit outside and enjoy the beautiful weather. If you want to picnic in the park, I guess, you know, you could pack something there. You could take a stroll. Even when once you come in here and you park somewhere, you're going to take a walk to the Ave, and you're going to see that the place is packed. The entire village is packed. People are walking, you know, for the hours. You'll see people walking down just to the harbor. You know exactly where they're going because you know they're all looking forward to the fireworks. And I know people in my building, I'm a few blocks away, some of us won't walk down all the time because there's a crowd. We still get a good view on Boston Post Road, so we'll find spaces on Boston Post Road to watch. So you can see some of the New Rochelle fireworks sometimes.
Yeah.
You can see Right Playland. You know, so if you get the right spot, you can actually get 3 fireworks shows in.
And on the 3rd, if you look towards Wingfoot, they do it up there.
Yeah, there you go.
On the 3rd.
You
So,
can do that
you
too.
know, residents who are on the other side of, say, Boston Avenue, Palmer Avenue, that
Right,
side.
right.
If you're facing west, you can see that.
Oh, this may be one of our further
Levittown, yep.
further groups. Levittown.
Levittown led by Captain Dean Bear. Levittown, Long Island.
There he is.
2014 Pierce. And a clean 2023 Suburban Chiefs car. That's another thing, you know, the Chiefs cars, you know, they have so much gear that chief officer needs the car. You know, 50 years ago, the Chiefs used to take their own personal car and get gear off the apparatus. It's just changed. The Chief's job is so demanding. And, you know, when I was chief, it was demanding. I feel sorry for the new chiefs. There's so much more. The regulations, the work, the effort. It's just growing exponentially, and it's a lot of work. You know, these chiefs today, they take so much time to get back to the community, right?
It's not just the Chiefs cars. Now, I've been in the Chiefs cars, and they are packed.
It's packed.
But I've also seen the volunteers, and the backs of their cars are also packed because you just never know when you're going to get a call. You know, I've been at dinner and seen like 5 guys get up and leave a restaurant because they have to get out. So they're prepared 24/7, no matter what's going on.
For the Chiefs, there's 1,000 fire calls, Chief Barney said, but that's really a small part of what happens. And I would venture to say that most of the Chiefs would say, yeah, we don't mind the calls. It's all of the work that goes on behind the scenes that, you know, every firefighter has to have a physical, has to be physical fit. The training, to make sure everybody's up to date with the training, to make sure the equipment, not only you buy the equipment has to be tested. Every year, every pump gets tested. Every bit of hose. I tell you, each apparatus has 1,000 foot of supply hose. There's probably 3,000 foot of hose that each company maintains. All of that has to be tested, laid out, tested, rolled back up. So it's a lot of work, and the chief, you know, there's no support staff.
And then there's the maintenance of all the vehicles. I've seen these guys and the way they take care of the vehicles. It's amazing.
Yeah. And you know, now our vendor is in Brewster. So we have to drive the fire truck up to Brewster to drop it off. Somebody else has to go and pick that individual up. These are all volunteers. Nobody's doing it. So there's so much more, I'm sure that James is saying that the fire call's an easy part of it, right? It's everything else
That's
that
what
goes.
they've changed for, and that's what they're ready for, but it is everything else.
The fire calls.
And I think we've had a lot of transition with our demographics, basically with people coming into the community since COVID. And I think there are probably a lot of people who don't even realize that this is a full volunteer fire department. We don't have any professional staff. This is 100% volunteer. And so when you look at how many hours they put in just to train to be able to do the job, then the meetings they have to make sure they're keeping up on everything, how many calls they have to go through, which could be at any time of the night. You could get home from work, have a couple calls in the evening, go to bed, wake up, go out to a call at 2 in the morning, still have to go to work in the morning. The parades are the fun part, but there's a lot of other things that go through it. The maintenance every Thursday, on the Thursday nights, I know that there's maintenance going on. So it really is a lot more hours than you would ever think.
So it's an annuette that was led by the Long Beach Seaside Marching Band and Chief Joseph Pacella. As we wind it up, got a couple more here. Next we have the Havistraw Relief Hose Company number 3, led by their chief, Rich Nieves. Havistraw is a bit of a ride on the north side of Rockland County, right? So
Havistraw is across the bridge, right?
Across the bridge, yep.
Right by Nanuet.
And so what we try to do is the parade committee will try to schedule people to allow them time to get here, because again, most of the firefighters have worked during the day. They'll leave their home 5:30, 6 o'clock, and they get here. So the local departments, we tend to start earlier in the parade. The further departments, we give them time to get here, and they'll be spaced out. But as we get to the end of the parade here, I just want to thank you, Mayor. I want to thank Steve Otis, George Latimer, a good friend of the fire service, and also, most importantly, I want to thank LMC-TV for setting this all up. You can't see this if you're home watching, but LMC-TV probably has 10 or 12 volunteers out here tonight who are working, and so,
Well, and I'd also want to thank the volunteer fire department, not only for keeping this tradition going, but they plan it. Yep. They put a lot of hours into the planning, the judging, the carnival, everything that they're doing.
And LMC-TV, thank you as we get to the end of this.
Thank you, LMC. You guys have been amazing.
Again, for those at home, LMC, a lot of volunteers here, and they are a 501c3 organization, and they accept donations, and anything you do to help them out, we appreciate it. So, Mayor, I appreciate you spending all that time with me and the support. And that's another successful carnival. Want to invite everybody down to the carnival. It's a successful parade. Invite everybody to carnival. So I'm being told that we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you, everybody at home, and I hope everybody has a safe year. Thank you very much.
Have a good evening, everyone. I just can't bend my neck too much. That was like off to the side. It was a little weird. Whatever you guys need, anytime, you know that. That goes for you too, not just the fire department.